back then there was no competition really at all with it. Truthfully, I think a lot of why our product sells really well, and especially on store shelves, is because it just looks so different and so beautiful, and people are like, wow, that's cool. I've had people just want to buy it because it looks cool. They didn't even know what it was.
Tell me a little bit about like your what were you doing before you started your brand, and what made you jump into being an entrepreneur? What really inspired you?
Yeah, well, I guess from the very beginning of my life, I didn't go to college. I just kind of went off on my own and had different odd jobs that kept me afloat, and just kind of learned how to be an entrepreneur. My grandfather was an entrepreneur, so I always knew how to create sales, which is a really key aspect of being an entrepreneur. Is you have to know how to sell stuff. And so I'd learned, I've sold everything pretty much. I've had a bunch of different businesses, service-based businesses, and I worked a lot in permaculture and agroforestry and ecology work. I did a lot of land management work, which led me to fall in love with plants. My family was farmers too, growing up. So I always had an affinity for plants, and there were really special ones that always stood out to me. And one of them in my travels through Central and South America was cacao, and seeing that it was growing so abundantly in really beautiful forests. It didn't seem like it was being farmed. It almost seemed like it was just part of the ecosystem. And it produces these big, huge, beautiful pods, and there's like fruit inside, and you can use the beans to make chocolate. And I just fell in love with this plant. I thought it was such a cool plant that most people associate with just candy and chocolate, but it has such a cultural and strong heritage behind it for thousands of years that it's much more than just a candy industry. And I saw that when I was able to spend time with the plant. And so that's what got me into it. Specifically on a farm in Hawaii, I got to really see the process and be a part of it, and really just fell in love with it. And then I also knew from my travels that Peru had some of the best cacao, in my opinion, especially in the Sacred Valley region, kind of in the cloud forest. So that's how Pachamama was born. Was my co-founder and I both agreed that the high mountain cacao was the best, and we had spent time together in Hawaii, so we were friends from there. And so we birthed Pachamama, which is kind of a fusion of those two places and those two words coming together. And we built the company off of this idea that basically that's how we started Pachamama, was just really feeling inspired to work with this plant and trying to change the narrative about it and inspire other people to understand what it's really about, more than just chocolate, and like make movement around it,
I love that. That's such a cool story to have. Was there something similar to it at the time, or anything competitive?
Yeah, there has been. My journey with cacao started like 10 years ago, and I would bring back big blocks of it from Guatemala or Peru or places that I would always bring back a suitcase full of this stuff because I thought it was amazing. So back then there was no competition really at all with it. There wasn't ceremonial cacao companies yet necessarily, but there were people who had it, and you just could find that really good quality stuff if you knew someone who went to the country of origin. And it wasn't until right before the pandemic that I think ceremonial cacao became a lot more known, and we started our company in 2022. So I think, we're on the forefront of it, and I think it's just a growing movement. So even if there are competitors now, the future of cacao is going to be almost as big as matcha, in my opinion. So plenty of space to grow. I don't see any of my competitors as competing forces. They're just allies in the same cause, and they're doing good work in different countries, and not enough people are drinking this stuff. So they're friends, and I know a lot of them.
Oh, I love that. One of the things that we do before we launch products is we try to validate it. And obviously you have a long history with the plant and the product, so you had the strong conviction that this is something that's gonna go well. But one of the questions that I like to ask, like what kind of market research did you develop? Was it mostly personal experience, or did you actually do like market research to be like, hey, if I make this into a product, I'm going to be able to sell it?
Yeah, the market research was very anecdotal. It was very, nobody that I ever gave and introduced cacao to was like, "No, I don't like this. This is disgusting." Chocolate is one of the most pleasurable experiences, as you know, if you eat a lot of chocolate, like you said, it's super good. Something's got to be off if you don't really like chocolate, right? So the anecdotal evidence from giving people cacao drinks and introducing them to them, it fires off dopamine, serotonin receptors. It's a cardiovascular stimulant, so your heart feels open, like it sells itself. So the market research was purely just from the plant's expression. I just saw what the plant was doing to people when they consumed it, and it was all good. It was good things. So it was going to be an easy product for me to sell. It just needed to, I think the thing was the branding it properly so that it retained its value as being a sacred commodity versus, just your run of the mill cocoa powder. Like that was going to be the challenge. So.
And speaking of the branding, how did you come up with the brand name? Did you come up with it?
Yeah. So in Andean tradition, the Pachamama is the Mother Earth. They have different in the Chicana, which is like it's a four-directional symbol that they use in Peru, and they have gods for each direction. And the southern direction is Pachamama, and Pachamama means Mother Earth. And so we started with that, but Pachamama is a pretty popular word. So because our history in Hawaii, we changed it to Pachamana as like a play on words, because in Hawaiian traditions, mana means like the spirit of life itself, and like the spiritual life force that lives inside of human beings and animals and rivers and mountains, like that. That mana, like things have strong mana, like strong spirits in them that make them move. So we put the two together because cacao really has a lot of mana, and felt like it was a perfect brand name for it, and it was catchy, and it was authentic to our story. So that's how we came up with that. I got to give
that
co-founder the credit for that one. He came up with Pachamana one day, and he's like, "I think this is it." And I'm like, "That's it, man, for sure." So
I love that. That's a pretty cool name. So tell me about like the sourcing process. How did you find, obviously you have a history of working with the farmers and the plant. So I'm guessing it was like a direct connect that people you knew. Is that how you found your supplier?
Yep. So my business partner, Mark, he spent a lot of time in the Peace Corps in Peru. So he's a huge ally in this, and he knew his way around Peru, speaks really good Spanish, has a lot of connections there. And when we were talking about the original idea where we wanted to obviously get it from Peru, it was like a yes. There was no other country we wanted to source from. There was no Peruvian ceremonial cacao at that point too. So we knew that was a good idea. He and I were deciding how we were going to find the source if we lived so far. And he just one day volunteered and said, man, send me on vacation for 5 months, and I'll go down there and I'll make sure we find the right source. And so we did a lot of back and forth express shipping from California to Peru in that 6-month period where he was staying down there. And we went to a lot of different farms, and we tried a lot of different places and a lot of different regions, and we landed on one region and one farm, and it's a multi-generational farm of fathers and sons, and they have such an amazing connection to the land, and they grow it in such a good way, and it's a really healthy ecosystem that they're tending in the cloud forest and outside of Cusco in Peru. It's a dream partner that we work with, and they love us, we love them. We're in good relations, and we have a lot of trust with them we've built over the years. And so yeah, it's really in the spirit of cacao, it's about connection, so it's like our connection with them is really everything, and we're just bringing their beautiful product that they're helping us create at their origin and selling it in the United States to offer that cultural experience to people here in the United States who, maybe have never been to the cloud forest in Peru and experienced this firsthand. It's like not many people get that experience. So to be able to share it with people, that was the whole reason we started the company. So that was a big sourcing journey. It was basically, the beginnings of it all was really important. And
Mm.
what came after was then, the business. But the first part was very inspiring, for sure.
Yeah, and I love that you said like your suppliers are your partners, because it's true, a lot of people don't think about it that way, but your supplier, manufacturer, usually they're your business partner. So it's really important to choose the right one
Yeah,
from the
absolutely.
get-go. And you said it was a bit of a journey. Does that mean, did you guys talk to different farmers, different suppliers that were able to, in order for you to work with one, or was it
Yes,
okay?
absolutely. We went through a few different suppliers and really have our bearings of like what's what in the Cusco region, at least. And our supplier is, we're happy with them, and we landed on them just for a lot of different reasons. And we've had yeah, it's been a great process to work with them. So, but it was a journey. It took, things in Peru are also really far away from each other. So, oh, I want to go check out this farm. Well, it's a casual 4-hour bus ride through the
Mm,
mountains, like through
wow.
the rivers. It's the wildlands out there, and this isn't none of this is on a paved road. So just getting the cacao out of the forest is such an endeavor
Wow.
that it's it's a journey. Yeah, there's a lot of nights Mark slept on the floor, out in jungle kind of a thing,
Oh,
just
wow.
as, the lifestyle in the jungle is much different than our comfy westernized worlds here, so.
And what are some of the reasons why you didn't work with some suppliers? Was it quality? Was it communication? Was it price?
Yeah, so there's two things. One was quality. First thing was quality. That was the primary. Was I knew exactly how we wanted this chocolate cacao product, 100% pure cacao, to taste, because I've tasted every country of origin you can imagine. So I knew, okay, Peru, we're going for chuncho cacao. It should taste like this. If it's like this, it wasn't fermented right. There's very specifics that I wanted it to taste like. Like
Mm,
improperly fermented cacao can be bitter or taste kind of like milk, like lactic acid. There's in the fermentation
mm,
process. So we knew what we were trying to get. So there was one supplier, our one that we work with now, that they were not only were amazing cacao farmers and master fermenters, but they also knew how to process it in a way that was a high integrity product that wasn't burning off or over roasting, like all these little things about chocolate making that's a whole step further than farming. They were able to accommodate all of that. That was number one for sure. And the second thing was, we didn't want to work with a cooperative, even if they were USD organic. We didn't want to work with a cooperative that was so big that it was disconnected from its supply chain and its farmer supply chain. Like, how many hands did it have to touch before it got to us? That with the farm we work with now, it's like, there's not that many hands that it has to go through because there's such a big family. Somebody's on chocolate making, someone's on sourcing, someone's on fermenting, someone's on business, someone's on marketing. So, they handle all aspects of the business as a family. So they have a more family-centered, family-oriented business, which when it comes to values and a business model, like that's how we operate too. So it was an easy choice because I'm like, well, we could get to know these people like deeply, and that's how I want to run a business.
I love that. That's amazing. I wanted to ask you, could you tell us a little bit more about like the pricing and like your first order? How many units did you order for your first order, and how much did it cost?
Yeah, we started it in a very friends and family manner. Like, we knew that between the two of us, we could probably sell a certain amount just to get the product out there. We made these 100% little 50-gram bars that we called random acts of cacao, and we handed them out to people so that they could like, hey, you can make 2 drinks with this. Here you go. And they're like, oh, thank you. So we did a lot of that. So in the beginning, we ordered our first order in 2022 was 180 kilos, which sounds like a lot. In the cacao world, it's like a very humble start, to be honest. And we ordered it, and when it arrived, it was a little slow to sell, and that was probably the challenging part of the business. Was the upfront costs were a lot at that point just to get everything branded and built and bought, and we had no sales channels yet. It was very fresh. We really relied on family and friends to want to support us, and the business slowly took off. And then, basically from there, now it's 2025 and we're regularly making 2 metric ton orders. So it's only increased, and there's been a lot of people who have supported us along the way. When it comes to wholesale as well, we do a lot of wholesale. So yeah, it's been a slow increase over 3.5 years, but it's just continually increased. So yeah, it started, when I think it was a couple $1,000s when our first order, maybe $5,000 or $6,000 just to start. Then the next one was 10, the next one's 20, and then, and so on and so forth. And so where you're emptying your bank account just to buy, you have to buy it in bulk. There's a season, it's a farm product, so it's a commodity. You have to buy a lot when it's good. So the cash flow game is, when it comes to that, is it's a very capital intensive business, like any other commodity.
Would you know how many units were you selling, the 180 kilograms in the powder form packages, or were you selling it differently initially?
Yeah, we were selling it initially. One sec. We were selling it like this initially. This was our primary product, and it was just a gold wrapped bar, and it looked like a golden ticket from Willy Wonka, right? Yeah. And so we sold it like that, and you chop it up and you put it into a stove and you mix it. And I always knew that would be like the first product, because we knew that would work, because people who were diehard about cacao were used to this because they'd done it before, right? So
I see.
That was our first. And then I obviously quickly realized, hey, if I could get this ground up and made into different blends and different things, like this would be, we can take our really good quality cacao and make it into more ready-made, available form for people. So that took actually 18 months before we even got there.
And do you get it grounded in Peru, or do you do it yourself?
So yeah, we do most of the bulk of processing in Peru, and then the other half, like the grinding and bagging and the bags, happens here in California. There's a lot of steps with cacao, and the steps that they do in Peru are, for the volume that we're moving, it's better that they do those from bean into chocolate, or like cacao blocks, right? It's better they do that there. It's a good business for them too. It increases the value of their product. So we could get it ground there, but there's issues with shipping. It's better to just do that part of the business here, just so it's a little bit split cost wise too.
I see. So it cost you about, you said $5,000 to get started initially. How much did it cost you to ship the product from Peru to the US?
So it's about, what is it? I think it's about a quarter of the price of the cacao is just import and export fees. So it's and now with the tariffs, we have another 10% on top of that. So, and the cacao prices in the past couple of years have basically tripled. So as we started this business, a big, huge challenge we ran into is every order, the cacao kept going up and up and up in price, because the commodity chart looked like a Bitcoin chart or something like that. It was just going, and straight up in a line, and it went from $3,000 a metric ton to 12.
Wow.
Yeah. While we were basically starting the business. So that did not help, actually.
So you guys went direct to consumer, and you were selling wholesale for some time. Before. So Amazon was just this year, as we discussed earlier. One thing I would like to know is about packaging and design. Did you hire a marketing company to do your packaging and design? You sourced it locally. How was that experience been like?
Yeah, we got blessed with a really amazing woman named Libby, Libby McKay. You can check her out. She's an amazing artist. She just a plug for her. She just put out this amazing new book called The Tiny Wild, and it's for kids. And she does all her beautiful illustrations. It's a little oracle deck for children. It's so cute. So she's an amazing artist, and we got connected with her because I just loved what she did with another brand. And she has been a huge, and our collaboration together has been amazing. Like she can almost read my mind with what I'm going for in my head. And so she has been seriously crucial. She's been an angel to have on our team, and really helping us like portray the message via packaging, because packaging really can be everything. And I think that our packaging really speaks exactly how the cacao would if it was in a package, or like feels very representative of what it is. And so yeah, it was expensive. She's expensive because she's really good at what she does. And compared to like a $40 an hour graphic designer who just wanted to whip something up for us, she's an artist. So it was definitely a cost, and we went through a lot of different versions. And but yeah, I'm really with our blends. She did amazing, and they look good because of her amazing artistry. And truthfully, I think a lot of why our product sells really well, and especially on store shelves, is because it just looks so different and so beautiful. And people are like, "Wow, that's cool." I've had people just want to buy it because it looks cool. They didn't even know what it was. At event. What's that? Can I buy one of these? What is this? So
I love that.
that was our journey.
And I think you put here she charged about $5,000 for packaging design and logo.
Yeah, it was, that was like, I think the baseline, and that was baseline. It probably even went over that. That was just kind of my rough
Got it.
estimate for it. I think it went a little bit more than that over time. And she's just stayed employed with us and helped us redesign things. And so she's just a continual cost that we take on because she's so good, and she helps us really put everything together. But yeah, initially it was like $5,000, like with the logo, the bags, just like that. I remember I sent her like a pretty good amount of money and was like, here you go, really make us look good,
I love that. And you mentioned here that you spent $6,000 on software tools. Do you mind sharing what that may be?
Yeah, to build our website. It costed us about that much to put up our website. We had a pretty crappy website to start, and that was kind of just hand built by myself, and it did the job, but like did not sell how it should have. Wasn't converting very well, so I knew we had to invest in a good site. And we hired a website builder, and he did an amazing job. I love how our site looks, and he's continued to support us and build out a lot of incentive programs with rewards and reviews and subscription services, and really being able to customize our site to be more user-friendly, more profitable, authentic to our brand with color schemes and all the things. So that was a big investment. And there's a lot of software that you have to buy. We use WooCommerce along the way to make it a nice site. So yeah, that was the software mostly. Other than that, it wasn't, just the basics to start a business, Google, all those things, right?
Yes, I got it. That makes sense. And what about UPC codes? Did you guys get barcodes from gs1.org?
Yes, we got it from GS1. I think because of Amazon too. I think that's why we ended up doing that, because we weren't really in many stores. We were pretty direct to consumer. We had a niche product. The sales weren't huge, like 18 months ago. It wasn't as much. So we in our first rendition of packaging, we didn't have a barcode because we didn't need it. But then it very quickly was like, oh yeah, we actually probably need that. And then once Amazon needed it, we already had the ball rolling, and we ended up buying it through GS1. Yeah, which has been an enlightening experience for sure. First time I've ever put a barcode on something. So
nice. And just a couple of things before we jump into some of the sales and stuff. I'm guessing you started an LLC at the time when you launched the business.
Yep.
Could you tell me, like, did you do that yourself or did you hire a service to do it?
We did it ourselves. It's simple enough. I'd started them before, so I
Oh,
was comfortable with the process. Yeah, so just started it ourselves. Yep, it's a California LLC.
nice. And the trademark, I'm guessing the same thing. You did it yourself.
Yeah, we did. We had that was really early in the business. Yeah, we did that where we trademarked it. So that was like
Nice.
one of the first things we did. Actually, yeah, now I think about it, because we were like, this is a good name. Yeah.
I don't want to lose it.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. And so I know you've been selling outside of Amazon on your website, and I'm guessing you have a store, or you were able to
Mhm.
get in some stores, some local stores. That's amazing. But since we're Amazon specific here, we want to talk about your launch on Amazon. So you decided to launch on Amazon this year. Let's talk about that real quick. You launched in April of this year,
Mhm.
and so far you've been selling FBM. So you're fulfilling all these orders yourself.
Mhm.
But it's easy for you because that's what you do anyway. So you have the whole operation running as part of your, how you fulfill orders for your website. But in the last 7 months, I'm guessing, yeah, 7 months since April, you've made almost $3,000 in revenue just selling through Amazon, and that's revenue, not profit. You've sold 73 units so far, which is amazing, and that's FBM. That's not even FBA. I think FBA will be a lot higher because if the prime listings are usually just higher on top of the search results, and usually people, when they see the fast shipping, they tend to order those kind of listings first.
Right.
So I'm excited to see, like, when you switch to FBA, how this product would do. But selling 73 units on FBM, that's not bad. I think that's pretty cool. Just adding more sales to what you're already selling. And yeah, congratulations, man. That's awesome. It's been an awesome story so far.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I feel like if I do get, I have only one of my products, and I have 5 blends, and then the paste that I showed you, and 2 different SKUs. So, I think that's a total of 12 SKUs, and I have 2 up there. So I think it was just to test the waters to see if, like, do people make money on Amazon as well? I mean, I know how to make money with people who, like the vibe, but just randomly something pops up, they see Pachamama, are they going to want to buy it? And sure enough, I've seen some data now to say, yeah, people will buy it. It just the site needs to definitely, like, the Amazon store should look nicer. There should be all my products. From your tip, the Fulfilled by Amazon is a better way to sell. So I'm definitely going to give that a try now. And yeah, I could foresee, if we did this many units now and we do all those changes, it could easily triple, if not more, in sales for sure. I could see that happening. So
Yeah, I could see that happening as well. Especially this month and last month, your sales went up tremendously. So
definitely.
yeah, I didn't mention that, but for the audience, the sales since April have been around 9 units a month, but last month 16 units. It went up, and this month so far it's only mid-October, and it's already matched September. So
Mhm.
by end of October, you could hit over 30 units possibly, which is kind of cool. It's kind of cool to see that happening, just FBM. And it could keep going up as the sales keep going, your ranking goes higher. Uh, so the sales numbers could keep increasing.
Amazing. That's amazing words of encouragement. Thank you.
Did you have any setbacks or any unexpected expenses or anything that you may share, like with your experience with Amazon?
Yeah, I did actually. And because I tend to just go for things on my own, and, do now, figure it out later kind of person. And entrepreneurial, I guess, in that way, just willing to take the dive and figure it out. And so I dove into Amazon, not knowing literally anything. Put some things, just put my products up there just to see if, hey, if they're in the background, would they even sell, right? And they have. And what I didn't realize when I first started was there's $40 a month, there's the Amazon fees, and on top of that, you're paying for the shipping out of your you have to pay for the shipping as well. So which makes sense. I bought things on Amazon. I've never paid shipping, and I think some things I've paid shipping, but very rarely do I. And so I had to factor all those costs, and I kind of put them up at the same price as my website because I didn't want them to be quote unquote competitive. And the truth is that I was losing. I was like basically the first couple of months. Luckily, it was only a couple of units, but I was looking at my numbers and I'm like, did I make any money? I don't think I made any money. I think after all of these fees, and I'm not selling that much, it's not really worth it. But I stuck with it, and I was like, I'm just going to raise my price and see. And actually, sales have just kept going up. So people don't seem to bat an eye. I looked at my competitors, what they're selling it for, and I'm like, okay, everyone's factoring in shipping here. I know the price for cacao, and so I saw how everyone else was doing, and I'm like, all right, well, I'll just play in this range now and see, and everything's been totally fine. So, but that for the first 3 months, I definitely, as I was collecting data, realizing I'm for sure losing money selling on Amazon, and I just had to ship all these orders, right? So I don't know if that was a great deal, but now I'm a bit wiser in the ecosystem, and I see how people do it. Yeah, the next 6 months will probably be worlds better than first couple months, but that's mostly how it goes with anything in business. So
yeah, I would love to do a follow-up update on how the transition would look like in a few months. That would be a nice to see.
Yeah, I would love to. Let me know.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Justin, for coming on and sharing your story. I think it's pretty cool. It's a really cool product. I'm a big chocolate fan, so I'm definitely gonna get a package to see how it's like. I mean, you've made me interested the way you talk about it and
Awesome.
how the good quality it is. Yeah, definitely want to try it.
Cool. I know you'll love it.
Nice. All right. Well, thanks for coming on here and sharing your story.
Yeah, no problem.